Okay. All right. The scene will open with Max sitting in his haven with a laptop and a tablet. Tablet will be in his hands, and he'll have a laptop, and he's kind of looking over some numbers, scratching his chin for a little bit. I have to increase my intake.
Did you invite us both at the same time?
And then he'll grab his phone and he'll check his messages, and he'll realize, oh, he's going to have visitors soon. He'll turn to his retainers. Marcus, bring the good vintage. I don't know if my guest is going to be a drinker or not. And Drescher, please make yourself scarce. This is polite company. And Drescher goes, yeah, boss. He gets up and walks away. And Max will set the tablet down, close the laptop lid, push it off to the side, and he will patiently wait for Gene to show up. That's your cue, Gene.
Okay. So walk in. Wearing a suit and a tie, shirt, black shirt with little frilly things on the collar. Good to meet you again, Max. I don't know. What do I see when I walk in first? Do I see a building? Do I see a...
The Haven is actually at a five-star resort in southwestern Manhattan Island in an area known as Battery Park City. It is the penthouse suite, and it's got a doorman, and there's people to greet you, and Max has to call ahead and clear it with them, and pretty much everything, all the security features you'd expect at a high-end hotel. When you approach the building, there will be a well-dressed man, rather young-looking, say early 20s, maybe not even out of his late teens, and he'll have a sign with your last name on it, as he's not sure what you look like, and we'll just kind of be standing there.
I'll come in on a bike. I'll pass at the gate, they'll let me in, I'll go in, I'll park the bike, I should see him, he'll probably point me to where I have to go park, and then I'll walk with him to get to see him.
Okay. The guy holding the sign, he goes, Mr.
Dujour.
Lejoux?
Jean Dujour.
Jean Lejoux, okay. Mr. Lejoux, yes, Mr. Hardcastle is waiting for you upstairs. If you'll just follow me. And he tucks the sign under his arm as he leads you over to an elevator. And unless spoken to, he does not speak back. Or he doesn't even look over his shoulder or chat or anything. He's very quiet during the elevator ride.
I'll walk in. I'm not activating. I'll activate Auspex. Auspex 1, and I'll not activate all. If there's anything I should see was Auspex 1, then I'll see it. I'll make it 2.
Auspex 1 will. What's your dice pool? Your
Pretty
perception and alertness?
Pretty low, 2 or 3.
3 dice total with perception and alertness?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy is living. He's breathing as he's going up the elevator. It's well air conditioned, so he wouldn't be sweating or anything like that. Cursory glance, he appears to be alive.
Cool.
Okay. But he does not talk to you unless you speak to him. If you do not speak to him, and assuming you don't kill him or something, the elevator gets off at the penthouse floor. He will briskly walk forward and open the door for you. As you enter into the room, the hotel room is very, very well decorated, very nice. It's 5-star resort for celebrities and heads of state and guests of that nature. And as you walk in, the first thing you see, of course, is how nice the hotel room and wet bar and big TV and in a hotel room bigger than some people's apartments. And then with your heightened senses, you can make out the telltale marks of light proofing, like the windows are very discreetly blackened out, so no sunlight can get in. Max is dressed similar to I am, just a red polo with a vest, and he stands as you enter, out of respect. And when you walk in, and as you're taking in the surroundings, Max will say, "Get your name one more time." Mr. Juju, pleasure to meet you, sir.
Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Hardcastle. See you again.
Yes. And I've got to keep your volume up. 1 second. Okay. So, care for some refreshments? He says, reaching over to a wine glass.
I can only drink what we usually drink and smoke cigars.
Oh.
I have brought some if you're interested in trying
them. Well, yes, thank you. He sets the wine bottle down and reaches over for a cigar. He offers you a seat to his right.
So is it okay to smoke indoor, or should we step outside?
Ah! We're all immortal. We're not going to get lung cancer or anything.
Rocky Patel, 1990. It's the one they won, I think, last 2 years in a row, best cigars of the year. Since then, their quality has been going to shit because they have to make a lot, I guess, but these are the older stock. It's not expensive, but very good. And I'll hand you a cutter and a lighter.
Max will take the cutter and he'll light up.
It's the daily favorite for a lot of reviewers. Again, not the absolute best out there and not the expensive one, but it is a daily for
Still, is a rather nice gift.
It was the company Rocky Patel. He was the lawyer for Arnold Schwarzenegger for 5 years, and then he went and
Das Governator. Very nice.
So this is my issue. Is I don't things are moving too fast around us for us to go and invest my time in another coterie. I tried to join the war coterie for a bit, but Samuel flopped, and I think he's going to be out of the picture for a while.
Mr. Bishop, you said?
Yes.
Yeah. A tragedy, but brouhaha, right?
It's more like a drama than a tragedy. He's going to bounce back. The tragedy is when he actually gets staked. He's a good guy. He'll bounce back. But for now, who to hit, who to look, who to invest. For example, I had a thought of investing, and I mean investing by the military term, not by the venture money term, investing the building, overseeing the embassy, and making sure to control all its security and what goes in and out of it, because it gives us windows right into their embassy. But right now, they are not the main problem. Our main problem is a war with Staten Island. So who are they? What are they? Where are they coming from? What do you want me to hit? My main skill is presence and very little celerity and very little aspects. I can use guns. I don't particularly do knives and melee. And I do technology. I do security locks. I do cameras. I do infiltration. So yes, I can take over a building.
Hmm.
I can infiltrate a building. I can do what you call active investigation as opposed to the passive investigation. It's the type of investigation where you actually have to manipulate what's being investigated. Basically take over all the security guys, make them my friends, find out who the owner of the building is, make him my best buddy, collect this kind of logistics, make people make the mark do its own investigation for me. Like, which is, I guess, is what you understand as a Ventru. It's what you have to do when you don't have obfuscate,
Mhm.
but also when you don't have dominate.
Well, it's quite an impressive list of resume you have there, Mr. Zhu. So you are basically wanting a job.
Pretty much.
And you joined the War Coterie only for it to fall flat thanks to Mr. Bishop?
Yes. I wasn't even officially a member of it, but I was working my way there.
Hmm.
Shouldn't be too
Well,
hard and too long for me to join another coterie, but I don't think we have the luxury and the numbers to
well, I won't speak for the War Coterie, whose name escapes me because honestly I haven't talked with any of the members in quite some time, and I have my own affairs to attend to, of course. But my coterie, or excuse me, the coterie I belong to, and named and created and put together, we are an influence coterie. Ideally, mainly an influence coterie. However, since I'm not the only Ventru that belongs to that coterie, we also, of course, are also a Sentinel coterie when we need one. When one is needed and we're around, of course.
What coterie, sorry?
Sentinel coterie. Sentinel of the First is the rather justified poetic term that Prince DeWitt uses for masquerade enforcement.
Yes.
Now, Prince DeWitt comes from a different school of thought about masquerade enforcement. It is not entirely unjustified, of course. He is Prince and he is justified and within his rights to divvy up responsibility as such. But under the school of thought that I belong to, the influence coteries and the Sentinel coteries are simply the same thing. For you must use your influences to enforce masquerade as well as your individual talents, be they lie in combat or mind control, memory manipulation, whatever. In my school of thought, it's the same. It's the same thing. Now, that being said, that does not mean that we have no use for or could not employ such people as yourself. Now, you said you're familiar with the emotion control, presence.
And transmit.
Yes. I, too, have some skill in that. I'm not a master of it or anything. I'm not going to claim, that level of proficiency when I don't own it. But your discipline aspects and celerity, you said?
Very basic aspect, basic celerity.
So am I to take it with that discipline spread that you are also of Clan Toreador?
Yes. And ultimately, it was my interest to join the influence coterie, but the way things were going, I was going to have to do the war coterie first.
Well,
my skill set is more for the influence.
Well, if my goals are achieved, we won't need a war coterie.
That's what
You
influence is
follow
for.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now, I coming from a military background myself, I am fully aware of Murphy's Law of no plan survives the enemy intact. So I can make adjustments as necessary. It is not a plan I am slave to. The plan is slave to me and my associates, of course. And should my plans come to fruition, we won't need a war coterie. But no plan survives the enemy intact. Now, that being said, as a member of Clan Toreador, you do have some status and standing within the tower. You do not have a primogen, as your letter, text, excuse me, as your text implied, and you are correct, you do not have one. On the other hand, in my opinion, the Toreador should be represented on the council, as it is a very important clan within the tower. But nothing's given away for free, unfortunately, especially not with this prince. Now,
It's a double-edged sword to have a Toreador prince. He cannot be perceived as giving me favors, and the best way to not be perceived as not giving me favors is to not give me favors, which is the worst type of primogen you can have.
of course,
The Prince Primogen. He's a good guy, but
of course,
it's not going to be a strong connection for a while.
So, now, there is one aspect of our existence, of course, that we have trouble with. Sunlight, daylight hours. Even though this city is cloaked in shadow almost 24/7,
God bless
we
Belize.
still have a problem with daytime. I seek a way to remedy that problem. And while I'm no big fan of the sun, I spent too much of my life in the desert of Iraq and Afghanistan to ever want to see that again. It is still a problem that we have to address. Now, I do know of a person who has a similar skill set, and he's, shall we say, available. I'm going to see if he's available. May turn out to be bust, it may not. I don't know. So, if you wish to join me, I'm going to reach out to this individual and see if we can't come to an arrangement. Are you acceptable to that?
Yes, that seems extremely interesting. And last time I saw the sun was the desert in Tunisia in 1945.
Say that again?
Last time I've been in the sun was in the desert in Tunisia in 1945.
1944. Ah, Montgomery's bunch, huh?
Yeah. But I was on the Yankee side.
Oh, so you were Patton's boys.
Yeah. But I've been asleep for most of the time, so. Since.
See if I can unmute him from here. There we go. Max is going to give Adrian a call.
He'll answer the phone. Specialist Hunter.
He'll answer the phone. What?
Specialist Hunter.
Sure.
On an outer character note, I'm actually doing something I've seen a lot of military guys that I know. When they answer the phone for a number they don't recognize, they list their rank and then last name.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, Max is going to go. Sure. Is this Adrian?
This is.
Mr. Adrian. I see you're out on the street, or here you're out on the street.
I'm in front of my office.
Yes, we met briefly at a certain nightclub with our mutual acquaintance, Limey.
Oh, that night.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was the quiet guy who didn't try to make your life hell that night.
Oh, yeah. Thanks.
So, I was wondering if Limey has not tied you up, or worse, are you available this evening?
I'm free.
Very good. If you would care, could you meet me at this address? Insert text message here. If necessary, I can provide a driver, or I can reimburse cab fare, or you can drive yourself.
I've got my car.
You have a car. Very good. So meet me at this address, and I will have my man out front. He is an individual. I am not sure if you recognized him, Sergeant Drescher, the man with the scar on the face, maybe? You may have met him, you may have not.
Maybe.
Okay. I'll make sure he has a sign.
Okay, that works. I'll be there in 15.
Okay. Very good. It's on the southern tip of Manhattan, in case you're not familiar with the address.
Yeah, I'm plugging it into GPS now.
Okay. You'll notice it's one of those 5-star resort hotels for like expensive rich people who have more money than sense.
Right.
Okay.
A Tony Stark type place. Gotcha.
Well, kind of place Tony Stark would, would like hotel at.
Type of place that Tony Stark would look at before hitting Hulk and go, quickly, Tuesday, how much do I need to buy that building?
Something like that.
Sorry.
So,
reference.
Yes, so when you can.
Why are you back? Really?
So when you pull up, it's, as Max explained, it's big hotel, real fancy. It's got, the valet parking and all that good stuff. Out front is a man that's a little out of place. He stands about 6'4", well built but not huge, not massive huge like not massive huge, and has a sign. The sign says Adrian on it. The thing that stands out about him is this side of his face is heavily scarred, and it looks like there's been some reconstructive surgery. But reconstructive surgery can only go so far. And he's dressed blue jeans, New York Mets jacket, ball cap, kind of a down-to-earth guy you'd expect to see at a bar, not at a 5-star hotel.
Adrian's on board. He's probably not surprised, honestly. He sees all sorts of people as an investigator.
You have a very, very strong reverb.
Yeah. So, as you walk up to the sign, because the sign has your name on it, the guy who's chomping on a cigar, he'll look. You Adrian?
Yeah.
Hi. Boss is expecting you. He puts the cigar out the bottom of the shoe, puts the rest of it up, and he just turns around and walks inside. He assumes you're smart enough to follow.
Yeah, he's going to follow.
Yep. All right. Hotel, the lobby is fancy, fountains and art, and probably some famous guy over there in the corner with some chick or three, who knows. Yeah, but he doesn't pay any attention to it. He just goes straight to the elevator. He gets in.
Yeah, I'll get in with him.
Okay. As the elevator's going up, this guy kind of turns and looks. Looks like he's sizing you up.
Adrian's 6'1". He's in what looks like, basically street clothes. Jeans, t-shirt, duster that drags the ground. He's got a baseball cap on, no insignia or anything crazy on it, and it's got he's got a bandana wrapped around his neck.
Okay. Max, or this guy, he goes, puts the cigar in his mouth, but he doesn't light up. I'll take it out so I can talk normal. You look the sort of type who works for a living.
Yeah, I own a business.
Yeah.
William, you have a very strong reverb in the background of the mic. When
Is
you
it
talk.
is it for me?
It's say
I don't
something.
know.
It's clear now.
Was that from? Is it for me?
No, it was from William, but it's fine now.
Okay. Yeah, my connection gets a little spotty when more than 2 people start joining up. When I had 8, that scene clusterfuck that poor William was in, it started getting real bad real fast.
That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, so this guy continues. He goes, "Yeah, and I bet your business is not investment banking, is it?"
Investment banking. I wish it could be so much for this.
Now you'd be surprised. There's a lot of investment bankers that hate their job. I've known a few, killed a few.
I'm in the business of more finding people.
Ah, thought so. Well, all right. Open up the duster.
He opens up the duster.
What are you packing?
Oh God. Okay. There is a nightstick. There is a cell phone. Is he patting down to find everything?
He's looking for guns, really. The nightstick, he's like,
Oh.
whatever.
There's a pistol on his side. There are 4 stakes, 2 on each side of the trench.
Okay. He'll see the pistol, and he'll say now. He looks at the gun, looks at the ammo. What's the ammo?
The ammo's solid slug.
Okay, the shit you get at Walmart.
I mean, if he's like taking every round out to examine the entire clip.
He's looking at the bullets.
Yeah, the top bullet in the clip that he can see the actual slug on it is a solid slug like you would get at Walmart.
Okay. He puts it back, or he puts the clip back, puts it back in the holster. Now, when he sees the stakes, that raises an eyebrow, and he's like, those need to be checked.
He takes them out and starts handing him 4 stakes.
Don't particularly care too much about the guns, but the stakes, nah, brah, we're not having that. And the boss informs me that you're in the know, so.
By in the know, do you mean that he is? And he actually at that stops and looks around. The elevator, does it have cameras? Does it have audio recording?
Yeah, assume the elevator is a masquerade enforced position.
Okay. By in the know, if by in the know you mean he stays awake late nights, then yeah.
Yeah. So you're the kind of guy who knows that he holds up 2 stakes and he goes, "These aren't drumsticks, right?"
No, I totally do drums on weekends.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I'm gonna hang on to these. You can keep the rest.
That's fine.
Okay. And elevator gets there, gets to the top. He walks in. Now, he goes in first, but he doesn't open the door for you. He just kind of leaves it open. Getting a completely different treatment than the other guy did.
Okay. Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay. So you go in. When you do, almost out of habit, Max will stand up, realize he's standing up for you, and then sits back down and says, "Ah, Adrian, I did not catch your last name at the party we were at."
Hunter.
Hunter. Mr. Hunter. Clever name. Please have a seat. And he points to the left side.
Adrian, all set.
Okay. Not going to close the door? Really? Sergeant, close the door. Drescher just kind of walks over, closes the door, locks it, walks back to the couch. All right, now, Mr. Hunter, I am sorry, but I did not catch I only made out snippets of your skill set that night as Mr. Kokler was being rather rude, in my opinion.
He's a special individual.
I'm sorry.
As far as my skill set goes, I'm an investigator.
You're an investigator.
Yep, I'm in the business of finding people.
Finding people. Are you in the business of retrieving people as well?
I am.
Ah, okay. Are you in the business of... If you're in the business of retrieving people, I also assume you're in the business of retrieving things or information should I need it.
If need be, yeah.
And now we are in a masquerade safe place, so it is okay to reveal and talk about kindred topics here. I understand that you are an independent retainer.
I was.
You was?
I was, correct, yes. Limey has seemed to take an interest in snagging me.
In snagging you. Have you been force-fed yet?
See, I don't know what Limey's going to do, so I'm assuming this is after he and I have met, so, I mean, I can't really answer that right now. I'm going to go ahead and say yes.
Well, that would be problematic. How many times have you partook of him?
Again, because we're doing this with I will have to talk to Limey, I'm going to say once.
Just once? Well, I could use a man of your talents, and whereas Limey is the sheriff, I am Primogen, so in theory I outrank him. So while I could pull rank, that would be rather just rude.
To be more specific, Mr. Hardcastle, I have training in tactical insertion, retrieving, surveillance, long-range target acquisition, underwater demolitions training, air reconnaissance, air shoots.
So you're not an investigator, you're ex-Special Forces.
I'm ex-SEAL. Ex-SEAL, ex-Marine, ex-Army Recon, ex-NSA.
Wow. And they let you go with that skill set.
I retired.
They let you go with that skill set.
By let go, I mean there's probably somewhere in the city someone monitoring my business, monitoring my phone, the phone that's at the office. I mean, you do what you do for long enough, and the problem in learning what I do is I know how to look for those that do it.
Well, that is interesting, because a man with your skill sets is probably on some government watch lists.
Probably, which is exactly why I retired to the investigator field. Because, sure, you can watch an investigator all day, and the minute they start doing crazy things is the minute you bring them in as prime suspect. But the fact of the matter is, since I look for people, I'm not out there going, hey, look at me, government, I've shot a .50 caliber round, come find me, please. I'm not doing an Oswald.
An Oswald. That's an interesting way to put it. So, if I need someone to pull an Oswald, or shall I say, some wet work. Is that something you do not do anymore, or is that something you're open to doing?
I'm open for discussing a price.
Ah, thought so.
Am I in the room or am I in the chilling in the bar?
You're on the right to the right of Max. You're over here.
Yes.
Sorry, you're over here. He's over there. Now, let me fill you in a little bit, Mr. Hunter. Now, whereas I find Mr. Kokler's actions that night to be in bad taste, that does not necessarily mean he is wrong. So, now Limey has taken it upon himself to shall we say, watch over you. I find myself in need of somebody with your particular skill set. Mr. Damn it. De Jure, okay. Now, Mr. De Jure here, he points to the fellow across from you, also has a similar skill set as you. But he has the same problem that most of my kind do with daytime activities. In your current condition, you do not have a problem with daytime activities. That being said, you are a rogue element within our organization. Do you understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So, understanding where you sit with us, and by us I mean the organization, not with me personally, as you have been a retainer for how long now?
Couple weeks.
So you've been an independent ghoul for less than a month.
Oh, no, sorry, I misunderstood. 15 years.
15 years. So you've been an independent ghoul for 15 years, and yet you've never once broken masquerade.
Mm-hmm.
And never once have you threatened to do so, or sought harm or some sort of negative consequence to any of our kind in the tower.
That's asking for a death sentence, and personally, I don't want to die, so no.
So for 15 years, you've been a good little independent ghoul.
Yes.
So I personally don't see why Mr. Kokler was so adamant in his response, because you've been doing this for 15 years, and yet you have done nothing wrong other than not, belonging to one person. So with that in mind, I personally don't see a problem with you, other than you're just too damn useful to not belong to somebody, if you understand my meaning.
Yes.
So, the question I have for you is, would you prefer, after all, I did fight for democracy for 15 years in the United States Army, would you prefer to belong to the one known as Limey, who invited you into a death sentence, knowingly invited you into a death sentence, did not ascertain the situation beforehand, or would you prefer to belong to Mr. Kokler, who just wanted to kill you on sight for existing, or would you prefer to belong to somebody with a little bit more forethought, more forward planning?
In my line of work, I find that forward planning is a necessity for survival.
I see. So, you would not be opposed to working for me?
No.
Very good. Now, let me tell you what I need. And this goes for both of you. If either of you have any ideas, feel free to chime in. The organization that I work for needs to have the ability to, and he's holding a pair of scissors like I am, needs to have the ability to recognize threats before they happen. Now, unfortunately, none of us have the gift of foresight. At least I don't, and nobody that I know of does. So, what I need is to have city government, city cops, city attorneys, politicians, bureaucrats, even the lowly, insignificant little janitors to belong to us. And when I say belong, I don't mean like we rig elections or something stupid like that. I find politicians to be a horrible investment in the long term. But I do want that level of control where we can squelch any problems that may arise. Do you understand where I'm going with this? The both of you.
What I'm hearing is you essentially want the influence that they had in the film Fight Club.
Fight Club?
It's a film from the 90s.
Drescher, when you say Fight Club and Max is like, Fight Club? Drescher leans over and goes, yes, he does!
Basically, the line that sticks out and rings true in this is they grab a city official, take him to the bathroom, like tie him up, and they look at him and they go, we cook your food, we take out your garbage, we watch you when you sleep. Do not fuck with us.
Crude, but not entirely wrong. Because I don't need to strap somebody to a table and threaten their balls with something sharp. I'm a little more graceful than that. And I would hope the both of you are a little more graceful than that. But no, this is strictly a... this phase is simply a reconnaissance mission, if you will, since you're both military. And I'm ex-military, so I understand the lingo. What I'm looking for are mid-level politicians and mid-level bureaucrats. Not the mayor. I don't care about the mayor or whoever the hell's going to replace the mayor.
You get much more from the secretary than the mayor, and much more from the janitor who will never get fired.
And Max points the scissors like I'm doing to Lejeune. Exactly. I want the secretaries. I want the janitors. Janitors should supervisor even. I want the paralegals. I even want the lawyer fresh out of law school that daddy got him a job on the city council or city whatever.
He fell off?
Yeah, he fell out.
Ah!
This message brought to you today in part by Pentex. By Pentex.
Can we YouTube music in here? I can put some elevator music. Some serious elevator music. This picture, do you have this picture of who? Andrew?
No, I don't have a picture of Andrew anymore.
So Adam
actually,
and Andrew are two separate characters.
Adam and Andrew are actually the same person.
Okay. No, but separate characters or in-game?
No, they're the same person in-game.
Oh.
Changelings have 3 names. They have their fey name, their birth name, and then their true name.
That's why I was getting confused.
Yeah, Adam is Andrew's fey name. Andrew Cope is Adam's birth name.
Oh, they wake up into it or something?
Yeah, basically you're born a changeling, but when you chrysalis, your fey soul wakes up, and then you're officially a changeling.
Oh.
He just sent me a link. So
embrace or anything, right? They just
No, we can't make more changelings other than by having kids.
and they're Fey based.